this is how I do my budget and how I kind of run my budget binder to keep all of my expenses on track. So I started this in, I think it was end of July or August of 2023. So I've been doing it for almost a full year now. I've been able to hit all of my budgeting goals, or I'm about to hit all my budgeting goals. And this is how I figured out what I need to put away every shift I work to meet my expenses and also make my finance goals happen. So first, you need to figure out your total monthly income. If you're getting paid a paycheck, awesome. That's pretty easy to figure out. For me as a server, I use the app Server Life to track how much money I make per shift. It does have a yearly fee of like $19.99, but for me, it's worth it to have that visual. Beforehand, I just kind of went on my pay stub to see about how much I was making a month. And if you don't have either of those options, you can kind of ballpark it. I ballparked it on the low end. So I originally made my budget based on a $500 a week income and went from there. I knew I was typically going to make more than that, but that was like worst case scenario income. My tips are bad. I'm only working like 4 shifts. I know I'm going to make $500. So first, find out your total monthly income. Then you want to write out all of your expenses for the month. So for me, that's rent, utilities, gas, health expenses, your credit card minimums, stuff like that. So that's going to be different based on everyone. For me, those main ones are like what I just said. There's also like beauty expenses, car insurance, car maintenance, stuff like that. So I do a lot of stuff kind of playing by ear that aren't my like strict monthly expenses. So to figure out, or at least how I figured out how much money I need to put aside every shift towards those fixed monthly expenses, I took my like total cost of my expenses. So let's say my rent is $700 a month, and I know that I am only going to work 16 shifts in that month. $700 divided by 16 is going to be $44 per shift put away towards rent. So that's kind of how I do the math on my fixed expenses like that, where I have a certain amount I'm putting away every single shift. And then for those expenses or like sinking funds that I'm just trying to meet a goal of, I set a goal amount to set aside every single shift. So when I was building up my savings, I was like, okay, I have to put away at least $10 every shift, or I have to put away at least $20 every shift. And then if I had extra money to throw in that sinking fund, I could. So that's how I personally do it. It's not a super complicated system. And for stuff like gas, beauty expenses, personal spending, a lot of that is playing it by ear. So like right now, I have a full tank of gas. So after today's shift, I did not put any money in my gas folder. But I do have a haircut coming up this week, so I put money in my beauty folder that I normally am not contributing money to, because I don't spend a lot of money on like my makeup or hair or anything like that unless I know I need to repurchase something. So that's kind of how I do it. It really depends on your goals. If you get paid a paycheck, that's really easy to figure out, like your total income. And if you are paid a paycheck instead of getting cash at the end of the night, in high school when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, I would go to the bank when I got my paycheck. I would figure out how much I needed to put in every one of my cash folders, and I would withdraw certain denominations. So I'm like, okay, I need 5 20s, I need 4 10s, I need 3 5s, or whatever it was. So that's how I kind of do it. It's all about your personal expenses and your personal financial goals. But that's how I do it. And then as far as the categories that I created for my binder, I got this off Amazon, and it came with like pre-made labels, and they're really cute. They look like this, and most of those were kind of what I needed. And then it did have some like blank squares where you can like write your own stuff on it. So for expenses that are more personalized, like this is the folder for my mom, or I have a folder called apartment things. They even had stickers for like car maintenance. So that's how I'm able to kind of organize my folder. And I also put them front to back in order of priority. So the folders that I know I'm actively contributing to are kind of up front. And that way I see them first. I know my money goes in there first. And then my more like frivolous funds, I guess, like beauty or clothing, are going to be towards the back, because that's where I can throw extra cash if I know I want to go buy a new pair of jeans or go repurchase a moisturizer that I'm running out of. So that's how I personally do it. It's really going to be based on your own budget and your own expenses and your own income and all of that good stuff. But that's how I make it work for me. And if y'all have any other questions, just let me know. All right, bye y'all.